Welcome to Ride for Rights. Ride for Rights is a bike tour across America. I'm riding town to town in hopes that people will join me, come together on the four rights of freedom of speech, justice, education, and unity. If you'd like to come ride with me, check the schedule in the comments and see when I'm near your town. In addition, Ride for Rights promotes FIRE, Foundation for Individual Rights and Expression, the Southern Poverty Law Center, the American Immigration Council, and the American Library Association. They need your help, and please consider donating. Hey guys, we're back at the Dollar General. We're going 40 miles to South Bend today. Yeah, it stormed like hell here. Half the power went out in the city last night, so it was crazy. I only biked about 1.5 miles to get here, and I am soaked in sweat. It is crazy humid right now. We're trying to thread a needle. The storms are supposed to end at noon in Hudson Lake, which is halfway, 20 miles away from here. The storms are supposed to start at 2 in South Bend, which is 40 miles away in the end. Hey guys, this is me editing over a month later. So if you remember the previous day this insanity happened, where the Garmin was telling me to go the wrong way, once I turned back and went the correct way yesterday, the Garmin was beeping the whole time. So when the Garmin wants you to turn, it beeps at you and then shows you the direction. So when I was heading towards Michigan City, it was literally screaming at me for about 2.5 hours. So from here on out, my brain for some reason no longer picks up the beeps if I'm not actively looking at the GPS to turn when I'm supposed to turn. So I start missing a fair amount of turns, which for those of you that have been following the social media where I've been posting my day of statistics, you already know that I'll be missing lots of turns for the rest of the trip. Started a little late, got some extra rest. Legs are really sore. Hopefully this is an uneventful day. I did change the route in Indiana a little bit to make it more interesting. So we're going to South Bend today. The next day we're going to go to Shipshewana, which is Amish country. So we should have some interesting pictures and things to do from there. And then from there we're going to Angola, and from there heading out of Indiana. So it's going to be a pretty brief state. The weather's going to be iffy all week, so hopefully we'll be all right. Saddle sores definitely got worse in the wet yesterday. Kind of been dealing with them on and off if you've been watching the whole videos. So hopefully we can manage this again. We've managed it so far. It's definitely harder the more humid it gets. Mostly country roads today. See you there. All right, we gotta do one thing. Hello, Michigan! Goodbye, Michigan! Hey guys, we're in South Bend. Pretty day today, went to Hudson Lake. The drone doesn't work. Apparently put it in my pocket wasn't enough for the storm, so we're gonna try to get another one of those if we can. But I was really disappointed. Otherwise, it was kind of a hard day just because my legs were tired from yesterday. Otherwise, pretty beautiful. We got to Michigan, so we knocked out of state. I was in there for about 30 feet, so still counts. Yeah, it was pretty, just up and down hills. You know, got to the lake, went to South Bend, pretty forest. Roads were nice, not very busy. Indiana drivers are pretty respectful so far, so that was good too. But yeah, not a bad day. And we beat the rain. It looks like it's gonna in a second, and I thank God, don't want to get wet anymore. So gotta get some food, gonna start advertising for the Cleveland ride, which is coming up August 2nd. I hope to see you there. Tomorrow, we're going to Amish country. All right, see you tomorrow. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and check out my socials and the charity links in the comments below. Thanks for watching.